Good afternoon everyone. Myself Sandhya Rani from EC department. So this is the second lecture on electronic measurements and instrumentation. So lecture 2, electronic measurements on instrumentation. So in the last class we have studied about the introduction to electronic measurements and instrumentation, and also we have seen about the applications, various applications, and also the advantages which we use in EMI. And also we have discussed about the block diagram of some basic measurement system, and also we have seen about the types of measurements, direct measurement and also indirect measurement. So with the help of some examples we have seen about the usage of these instruments for the measuring purpose. So in the today's class I am going to discuss about the static characteristics of the instruments. So the topic is static characteristics of the instruments. These are the static characteristics of instruments. So actually these are the performance characteristics. The performance characteristics of the instruments are of two types. First one is the static characteristics and the next one is the dynamic characteristics. So if we know about the characteristics of a particular measuring instrument, then we will understand about the performance of that particular instrument. So the instrument capability, capacity or efficiency or a performance can be determined by knowing its characteristics. So these characteristics are of two types. First one is the static characteristics and second one is the dynamic characteristics. So today we are going to discuss about the static characteristics of EMI. So first of all, what is the definition for this static characteristics? So these are the characteristics of the measuring instruments which does not vary with the time, which means that these characteristics of a particular measuring instruments are independent of time, which even though if time changes, these characteristics doesn't changes. So let me write a definition for the static characteristics. So the characteristics of the instruments of measuring instruments. The characteristics of measuring instruments doesn't changes or do not vary or independent. Doesn't changes with time. So if the characteristics of a particular instrument doesn't changes with time, then it is called as a static characteristic. So why we are using for this static characteristics? In order to know the performance of the instrument, we have to know its characteristics. So these characteristics are static characteristics. So in these static characteristics, these characteristics doesn't changes with time, means which are independent of time and doesn't vary with the time. So the several static characteristics are listed below. So the first static characteristic is accuracy, and the second one is precision. Next, third one is resolution. Next, fourth one is error, static error. Next, fifth one is sensitivity. Next one is expected value. So here is the list of static characteristics. In that, first one is accuracy, next one is precision, third one is resolution, fourth one is the static error which occurs in the instrument. Next, this is the Next, measured value is the value of the instrument. Measured value. It's a value which is shown on the instrument, or the value we get with the instrument. So I will repeat once again. Accuracy is defined as the closeness of the measured value to the true value. So to understand clearly this accuracy, let us take a simple example. So if we consider the true value of a voltage, AD, let it be AD. So here AD is true value. So the true value of a voltage in a particular resistor is, let us consider it will be 5 volts. Then if we use the instrument for getting the value, let us consider this is the measured value. AM is the measured value. If the measured value is 4.5 volts and the measured value can be 4.9 volts. So this is the true value. So the true value of the voltage is 5 volts and this is the measured value with the, if we consider this measured value which we get with the first instrument, and if we consider this as the measured value too, with the help of the second instrument we are getting this value. So it is the degree of closeness of this measured value to the true value. So it is 4.5 volts and it is 4.9 volts. Here if we see, observe these two things, 4.9 is reaching towards the 5 volts rather than 4.5 volts reaching to 5 volts. So an instrument which we get the measurement of 4.9 volts is having higher accuracy compared to the measurement of an instrument which we get 4.5 volts. So it is of lower accuracy and this is of high accuracy. So this is for this simple example we can understand about the accuracy. Next, second one, first one is completed. Next, second one, precision. So this is the first one, accuracy. Next, second one is the precision. This precision is the measure of consistency or repeatability or reproducibility of a particular instrument. So it is the ability of an instrument which shows the same value after every use or after each measurement, which means whenever we take the reading, so if we take a number of readings on the same instrument, if we are doing the same instrument number of times and we are getting the readings number of times, suppose there are n measurements, we are getting with the same instrument, then we are getting the same value. There is no change in the value, which means the successive readings doesn't differ in any way. So the successive reading of the quantity doesn't vary in any way. That is called as a precision. So an instrument is said to be having higher precision if it repeats the value or if it is giving the same value after every use. Then it is called as a precision. So it can be considered as it is the degree or measure of repeatability or consistency of an instrument. That is, the successive readings of an instrument doesn't differ. The successive readings of an instrument doesn't differ. So to explain this clearly, suppose if we, with the help of an instrument, we are getting the voltage across the resistor or across the 2 points in a circuit is of 5 volts. Then even though we take the same instrument and we are getting the same value 5 volts, 5 volts, 5 volts again and again, then the instrument is said to be of high resistance. So let me explain this question with the help of an example. Suppose if we consider a voltage of 10 volts. So here T is the true value. AT is the true value. So here the true value of voltage is 10 volts. Then the measured values. If the measured values with the same instrument, we are performing different number of values. So if the measured values, successive measured values are like this: 9.1 volts, 9.2 volts, 9.3 volts, 9.4 volts. Suppose if we take an instrument 2 which consists of readings like this: 9.9 volts, 9.9 volts, 9.9 volts, 9.8 volts. So the here the true value is 10 volts and the measured value here is 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. So for every reading we are getting the different values. Whereas if you take the instrument 2, here we are getting the same readings in the 3 cases. And this is the reading of the 4th case. So precision means repeating the output value. So the output value of the instrument doesn't change. So the instrument having this measured value is said to be of low precision. Means the value is not repeating. And this instrument is having high precision. So this is the second static characteristics of these instruments. Next let us go to the third one. So before going to the third characteristics, let us discuss about the differences between this accuracy and precision. Difference between the 2 static characteristics. Difference between accuracy and precision. So what is the difference between accuracy and precision? Means they are looking same, but they are quite different. So this precision can be considered as a supporting characteristic of accuracy. So precision doesn't determine the accuracy of an instrument, but it is a supporting characteristic of accuracy, which means actually all the accurate instruments are precise, but precise doesn't confirm any accuracy to the instrument. So it can be clearly explained with the help of a diagram. So let us consider 3 instruments. So this is instrument A and this is instrument B and this is instrument C. So instrument A, this is instrument B and this is instrument C. So let us assume the measured values to be like this. So these are the measured values. For this instrument we are getting measured values like this. So these are the measured values. So for this the measured values are located inside the circuit. So these are the measured values. this is the true value and this is the true value. Suppose if we consider the range of the true value in the inner circle and we are getting the measured values here. So these measured values are represented separately for instrument A, instrument B, instrument C. So for the same experiment we are getting the measured values differently. So here these are the measured values. These are quite different from this, deviating from this true value. Whereas in the case of instrument B, the measured values are randomly in the measured range which are placed like this. So here the measured values are placed inside the value of the true value range. So here with the help of instrument A we are getting the same values, but it is deviating from the true value. So the instrument here we can say that instrument A is of high precision but lower accuracy as it is not reaching the true value. So instrument A is of high precision, lower accuracy. Whereas in the case B, we have low precision and also it is not reaching the true value. So it is of lower accuracy. So low precision, low accuracy. Low accuracy. Next, this third case is the measured values are in the true value range. So the values which we get in the instrument C consists of higher accuracy and higher resolution. So instrument B has high accuracy and high resolution. So from this diagram of the instruments A and B, we can clearly explain the difference between the accuracy and the precision. So this accuracy, so here even though we get the precise values, they are not accurate. So precision doesn't confirm any accuracy. There is a lot of difference between the precision and the accuracy. Next we are going to the third characteristic, that is resolution. So now we are going to the third characteristic, that is resolution. So the third one is resolution. So resolution is it is defined as the smallest change in the measured value to which the instrument will respond. This is called as the resolution. It can be simply explained with the help of a simple example. It is defined as the smallest change in the measuring variable, smallest change in the measuring variable to which the instrument will respond. To which the instrument will respond. When the input changes from 1.2 to 1.3, it doesn't change, but it changes from 2.5 to 3. So if the input changes, so here to here, the difference is 0.2 volts. Then the output we are getting is change in the output. So here we are getting the smallest change in the input should be 0.2 volts in order to have a change in the output. So resolution can be defined as the smallest change in the input which we want in order to have the change in the output of the experiment. This is called as the resolution. Next, expected value. So we have seen about the resolution. Next, the fourth characteristic is static error. Static error. So the static error is the difference between the measured value and the true value. So we know about the measured value and also the true value. So the difference between the measured value and true value is called as a static error. So it is the difference between true value and measured value. So if we consider the static error as E, then the static error E equals to difference between true value. So this is the true value and the difference between the measured value. So this measured value may be increased from 80 or it may decrease to below the 80. So AM may be greater than 80 or AM may be less than 80. So error is said to be positive if 80 is greater than AM. So if the true value is greater than AM, then the error is said to be positive. Error is said to be negative if 80 is less than AM. So the error is said to be negative if 80 is less than AM. Next. So there is a correction factor. So if you want to get the measured value, if you want to modify this measured value to the true value, then we need to add a correction factor. So this correction factor is positive when error is negative. Whereas this correction factor is negative when error is positive. So the static error is the difference between the measured value and the true value. So the measured value may deviate from the true value, it may increase or it may decrease. So if 80 is greater than A, then the error is positive, whereas it is negative. So in order to have the true value and the measured value same, then we need to add some correction factor which depends upon the error. So if the error is positive, then the correction factor is negative. If the error is negative, then the correction factor is positive. Next, the fifth characteristic is the expected value. So the fifth one is expected value. So the expected value is the this expected value is the design value, which means the value that one wants to expect or one wants to expect to measure is called as an expected value. So this expected value is a design value. Design value, the one who decides to measure, who expects to measure, So this is the accepted value. Next, the last one is the sensitivity. So the sensitivity can be denoted in the form of a graph like this. So for linear devices, if we consider a graph, in this the x-axis consists of inputs, qi represents the input, and the y-axis consists of output. So if we get a linear graph, so this is the linear graph in which this is the change in input qi and this is the change in output q0. So sensitivity is the ratio of change in output by the change in input. So S equals to delta of q0 by delta of qi. So this is the sensitivity. So the sensitivity can also be defined as it is the ability